Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Sport Talk Podcast. And today we have a Melbourne legend. This player has played for the Melbourne Football Club, of course. He's also on 3AW as well. Please welcome David Schwarz to Sport Talk Podcast.
Hello, Blake. How are you? And hello, everybody. Great to be here.
Yeah, good, mate. It's been a long time between drink socks, 1964 to be precise.
It's a long time. Yeah, it's I've been thinking about it all week that it's 20 years ago we played in the grand final. It seems like yesterday, yet those that were at the 64 grand final feel like it was just, it doesn't even feel like that long ago that it was the 64 grand final. So they happen quick and time moves fast, but it's a long drought, isn't it? 57 years. And, certainly Melbourne's side this year looks as good as any to, maybe change that drought and give hope back to fans, which have been so desperately looking for it for such a long time.
Yes, of course. So Melbourne's last two grand finals have been against two great sides between the Hawks and the Bombers. Is this the best chance tomorrow?
I think it is. I think they've been building for a long time. I think if we go back to 2013 when Christian Petrarca was drafted, 14 we get Paul Roos, 15 we get Simon Goodwin. We got Oliver in 14 as well. And then just progressively they've been picking good players along the way and they've been recruiting good players into the club. So since 13, they've had one player from every draft that'll be playing on Saturday. They've also had, in the last 5 years, they've had a recruit come from another club that'll be playing on Saturday. So they've recruited really well. I think their off-field with Adam Uze and Mark Williams this year in particular has certainly helped. I think the pieces of the puzzle, which have been so scrambled for so long, are finally coming together and the picture's just about there. Yeah.
So Gary Lyon thinks that Oliver is Melbourne's best ever midfielder. Thoughts on that?
He's good. He's a terrific player. If I lined him and Christian Petrarca up on the fence and you had to choose one, I'm choosing Christian Petrarca. And that's not to put Oliver down at all. I'm just a huge fan of players that kick goals and that can change games. Oliver will do what he does every week, but Petrarca has that magic. He's got that little bit of flair that he will, like against Brisbane, he kicks 2 goals in the third term and takes the game away from them. So, I'd probably disagree with Gary, but, we have had some great midfielders along the journey. I can think of, Ronald Brassie was okay. I think Robbie Flower was pretty good. Todd Viney was a great player. So we've had some good ones. And it's pretty hard to compare, but Christian Petrarca for me.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move back onto the game. But before we do that, how are you feeling heading into the big dance tomorrow?
Okay. I've been pretty confident for the last 10 weeks. I think their best footy's better than anyone's. I'm pretty calm. My son's a mess. He's super excited and super stressed. So I think a lot of fans. I think if we happen to win this one, I think a lot of fans would understand that the monkey's off the back and they'd be able to relax for next year or the year after. I think just not having won one for such a long time, the nerves build up because of the time lapsed between, as you said before, between drinks. So, no, I'm calm. I'm really confident that they'll get the chocolates. And I haven't had any sleepless nights or anything like that. It's been an exciting ride.
Yeah. So, who would you tag, Libba or the Bont? Who would you tag?
I'd stop Libba. I think just making sure Libba's. I think Bont gets it no matter what. I think you just got to be very careful when Bont goes forward. So if he goes forward, you man him up pretty heavily. But I think around the ground, Libba's the one that you got to stop and watch. But if I'm tagging one player, it's Caleb Daniel. I think he's the one off half back that sets a lot of their play up. So nullifying his influence, I think, is crucial to stopping the momentum to the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah. Do you think Max Gawn will back up his prelim performance in the big dance?
No, of course he won't. He's not going to be able to do that again. It was a one-off. He'll play well. He'll definitely play well. But he's only kicked 5 1/4 or 4 1/4 and kick 5 for a game. If he does well, he goes to legend status. He's a great player, Maxie, but that prelim will go down as one of the great games that he'll ever play in his lifetime.
Yeah. So having May and Lever down back must fill you with confidence.
Oh, they're superstars, and they work well together. But the unsung hero is Petty. He's come in from when Adam Tomlinson got injured. He's played his role. He's big. He makes good decisions. Very rarely gets beaten one-on-one. He doesn't fumble, which allows May and Lever to play the intercept marking role. And then you got Christian Petrarca, who's directing traffic for us. So now their backline's pretty good, and I think that is the difference between the two sides. When the ball goes inside their forward 50, they won't get easy footy like they did last week against Port Adelaide. It'll be contested, and they'll have to be absolutely precise coming inside 50 if they're going to penetrate the Demons' defence.
Yeah. So we, of course, touch on about May. Do you think May and Norton will have a big say on how the game unfolds?
I think Norton will. He's a star player, and he can turn it on. He's got, athleticism to burn. He can sit on your head. But Melbourne seem to handle those sorts of players okay because they don't rely on May to go to him or Lever to go to him or Petty. They use it as a team backline, and they seem to be able to stop that. So, but we know it's going to be one out of the midfield though. So if the ball goes inside forward 50 really quickly, it's going to be very difficult to stop either side. So I just think Melbourne's ruck, in particular Luke Jackson and Gawn, will be better than English and Martin. So I think that'll be the real advantage.
Yeah. So the great thing about this Melbourne team is they're young enough to keep competing in the next few years, you would say?
The window's open. I look at them very similar to Geelong of 06. And so 07, obviously, they did what they did and were able to tear Port Adelaide up. And then they went on a run, 7, 9, 11. The window was open for 4 or 5 years. They're young. They're all committed to the club. So the window is open. I reckon they've got 4 or 5 years of this of having a really solid side together. I guess in a couple of years, the only issue will be salary cap. Whether you can hold all the players, because if you start winning flags, the pay wage or the pay goes up for the players, which means you're going to lose 1 or 2 along the journey.
Yeah. So about predictions wise, who do you see winning the premiership, and what are your 2 favourites for both Melbourne and Bulldogs for Norm Smith?
I like the D's by 44 points. I've been pretty confident all the way through. I took Geelong by 10 goals plus when we beat them in the prelim, and I just see Melbourne getting on top. And if they get on top early, they'll put the foot down. I like Luke Jackson to win the Norm Smith. I think he's going to kick goals up forward, and he'll play a huge role in the ruck. He's a wonderful player. And if the Bulldogs were to win and the Norm Smith went their way, I think Caleb Daniel, because I think he'll be the difference. He's so good off half back, and he'll get 30, 35. I think the midfield will just about nullify each other out. So I'm selecting Caleb Daniel for the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah. All right, that pretty much wraps up the show. Thanks for joining us, Ox, and go D's for tomorrow.
Mate, we sit back, relax and enjoy it, and hopefully we can be celebrating long into the night, and then maybe when we open things up, we'll be able to get together as past players and current players and really celebrate. It'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Ox.